In every heart lies the seed of greatness. But greatness doesn't come through magic. It grows through pain, patience, and quiet persistence. This is the story of a boy once mocked for being weak. A boy who stumbled, yet refused to stay down. Through struggle, he learned that true power is not in muscle or might, but in the courage to rise again and again, until the world finally sees the strength within him.
In the peaceful village of Umuoha, where morning mist kissed the trees and birds sang soft songs at dawn, there lived a boy named Chike. Chike had a kind heart. He was gentle, respectful, and always ready to help others. But there was one thing he lacked: strength. When the boys of Umuoha raced through the dusty paths, Chike was always the last. When they helped their fathers carry heavy yams, Chike's load was the smallest. The other boys often laughed at him. "Look at Chike," Uche would shout. "His arms are like tender bamboo shoots." And Obi would add with a grin, "Yes, even the wind could push him down." Their laughter stung like thorns in his heart. Chike would smile weakly, but when he was alone, his eyes filled with tears. He wished to be strong, not to show off, but to stop feeling small. He wished to stand tall like the others, to walk without shame. One afternoon, during a race, Chike stumbled and fell face first in the red dust. The laughter that followed was cruel. Even some elders chuckled quietly. Something broke inside him that day. He got up slowly, brushed the dust from his face and ran, not toward the others but away. He ran past the farms, past the trees, past the laughter, until he reached the small hut at the edge of the village. There sat his old grandfather, Afam, weaving a basket in silence. Chike dropped to his knees, tears streaming down his face. "Grandfather," he cried, "I am too weak. Everyone laughs at me. I want to be strong. Please, is there a magic that can make me strong?" Afam looked at his grandson quietly. His hair was white like cotton, but his eyes were warm and deep. He placed a wrinkled hand on Chike's head. "My son," he said softly. Even the great Iroko tree began as a tiny seed. It did not grow in a single day. It grew slowly, drinking the rain, little by little. He picked up a small empty calabash beside him and gave it to Chike. "Tomorrow, at sunrise, take this to the stream. Fill it with water. Bring it back to me. Do this every morning." Chike blinked in confusion. "That's all?" Afam smiled faintly. "That is all." The next morning, before the roosters crowed, Chike rose from his mat. The air was cool. The world was quiet. He took the calabash and walked toward the stream. The path was long. Dew wet his feet. But he kept walking until he reached the flowing water. He filled the calabash and carried it back carefully, trying not to spill a drop. When he returned, Afam nodded. "Well done. Come again tomorrow." And so, Chike did. Day after day, week after week. At first, it was easy. But soon, his legs began to ache. His arms burned with pain. There were mornings when he wanted to give up. Then, one day, Uche and Obi saw him. "Chike," Uche laughed. "Have you become a water carrier now?" Chike said nothing. He walked past them with quiet determination. As the days passed, the path became familiar. The journey felt lighter. His breathing steadied. He began to enjoy the mornings, the smell of wet earth, the songs of the birds, the calm sound of running water. After one full moon, Afam gave him a small axe. "Now," he said, "after you fetch the water, split 2 logs for our fire." The axe was heavy. The wood was hard. Chike's palms blistered, but he did it. Every morning, the stream, the water, the wood. 2 logs became 4. 4 became 6. And soon, the boy who once struggled to lift a yam could swing an axe like a grown man. His body began to change. His shoulders widened. His legs grew firm. But more than his body, his heart changed too. He found peace in his effort. He no longer feared mockery. He no longer compared himself to others. He simply worked, quietly, every day. One day, as he returned from the stream, he saw Uche and Obi struggling with a heavy bundle of firewood. Without a word, Chike dropped his calabash and helped them lift it. Their eyes widened. The wood that had defeated them felt light in Chike's hands. That was the day the laughter stopped. When the New Yam festival arrived, the village came alive with music and drums. There was dancing, feasting, and laughter. But the main event, the highlight of the day, was the test of strength. The lifting of the Oke Nkume, the big stone. Only the strongest young men dared to try. Whoever lifted it above his chest would be honored by the elders and receive the first yam of the season. The whole village gathered around. Uche went first. He bent low, strained, grunted, but the stone barely moved. Then Obi tried. He managed to lift it to his knees, but his arms gave way. The crowd murmured. It seemed no one could do it. Then quietly, Chike stepped forward. At first, laughter rippled through the crowd. Chike! The weak one, someone whispered. Maybe he wants to touch the stone before the strong ones come. But Chike said nothing. He walked calmly to the big stone. He touched it gently, feeling its rough surface. He closed his eyes and remembered the early mornings, the cool stream, the steady rhythm of his axe, the sound of his grandfather's voice. Then he bent his knees, gripped the stone, and pulled. At first, it didn't move, but then, slowly, the earth began to tremble. The crowd gasped. Dust rose around his feet, and before anyone could believe it, Chike lifted the Oke Nkume high to his chest. He stood tall, holding it firm, his arms steady as stone. For a moment, time stopped. Then the crowd erupted in wild cheers. Chike! 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 They shouted. Even Uche and Obi ran to him, clapping his back, their faces filled with pride. That night, the drummers played his name. The dancers sang his story. The elders smiled in quiet admiration. But Chike did not boast. When the village elder brought him forward to receive his prize, a young goat, he bowed and shook his head. He walked through the crowd until he found his grandfather sitting beneath the Iroko tree. Chike knelt and offered him the goat. "You taught me to be strong," he said softly. Afam smiled. "No, my son. You taught yourself. You learned that real strength is not in your arms but in your heart. You built it, little by little, like the Iroko tree that grows toward the sun." He handed Chike a small carved calabash. "Keep this," he said. "Let it remind you that strength is born from small, consistent acts." Chike took it with trembling hands. Tears filled his eyes. He understood now. His strength had not come from magic. It had come from patience, from effort, from faith. Years passed. Chike grew into a tall, calm man. He was known across Umuoha for his quiet strength and wisdom. Farmers came to him for help. Mothers sent their sons to learn from him, and whenever the young ones complained about their struggles, Chike would smile and say, "You cannot shout at a seed to grow. You water it. You wait. You stay patient. That is how strength is built." The morals of the story: consistency builds strength. Even small daily actions shape great power. Patience is the root of growth. What is rushed will not last. True strength is silent. You don't need to prove yourself. Your results will speak. Humility keeps you grounded. Remember where you began, even when you succeed. Pain can be your teacher. Every struggle prepares you for your purpose. This is where the story ends, but the lesson never ends. If you love cautionary folktales with timeless lessons, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.